Hi, today we're going to have a demo of the secRMM Enforceable Two Man Policy. For our demo today, we're going to use this local workstation, and we also have a remote desktop connection. This remote desktop connection will act as the approver of the two-man policy. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I want to show you is that the end user's workstation is currently in what we call secRMM lockdown mode. So here's a local drive, and here's a smartphone attached to the Windows computer. And if I try and copy a file, as expected, I'm going to get an access denied because the end user's workstation is in lockdown mode. So we're going to go ahead and remove lockdown mode, and we'll set up for the demo now. So to set up for the demo, let's try and have as much real-world scenario as possible. I'm going to remotely connect to the end user's workstation through the Microsoft Computer Management console. And once we're connected, we can pull up the secRMM MMC console for the end user's workstation, and you can see in fact that the computer's in lockdown mode. So to put it in monitoring mode, all I need to do is clear that property. And now if we rerun our test case on the end user's computer, you can see that because the secRMM is running in monitoring mode, it's only auditing the file rights to the removable media or smartphone device. So you can see that in fact we were able to use Windows Explorer to copy a file. But that's not the purpose of today's demo, so let's get busy setting up for our demo. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the pre-approval flag. So turning that on will require that the end user has to be pre-approved to use the removable media. And furthermore, we're going to require that they need to use the Safe Copy program, which is a GUI program we'll see in a minute. And this is a specialized GUI program that only allows the end user to write to removable media, but it's got some special characteristics. And lastly, just to make the demo a little bit more interesting and to show you some of the functionality, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to limit from where the end user can copy data. So let's go ahead, and typically we'll have the users folder, but we want to really lock this down to only this user's folder. So if we go ahead and insert this user ID variable, now this will only allow them to look at their particular location under the users folder. And let's go ahead and add a network directory as well, so that we can use that for the demo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll select this network location. Okay, so as the administrator now, I've got this user ready to be able to perform writes. So let's go ahead and go back to the end user's machine, and you can see that when we start the program now, we get this dialog box saying that this end user needs to contact somebody before they're allowed to write to the removable media. So let's go ahead and put these two on the screen, and what I'm going to do now is the approver. I'm going to run the Safe Copy Approver program, and I'm going to connect to this end user's computer, and you can see it lists the information about the end user, and similarly from the end user's perspective, they can see that this approver has connected and is now processing the request, and please be patient. On the approver side, you can see now that I have two options here, these checkboxes at the bottom. When the end user is done using the removable media, we can put the machine back in lockdown mode, and we can also further require that the end user needs to approve any copy operations, and we'll see that. We're going to perform that in the demo right now. So let's go ahead and accept this request, and you can see that on the end user side now, it says that, okay, you're allowed to perform copies, but here in the red that you need to you'll need to have approval. So now we're actually in the program, and you can see the safe copy program is it looks a lot like Windows, and it actually has mounted our Android device. But you can see here, this is kind of interesting. These locations are grayed out. In a normal Explorer, I would be able to look at all these, but safe copy is only allowing this end user to look at the locations on the disk that the approver has provided. So let's go ahead and map our network drive as well, because that's what we'll use for the demo. So if I go ahead and I select this, you can see that now we've got this network drive here as well. And all that we're able to get at, even though this particular share has a lot more subfolders underneath it, safe copy is only showing us what they're allowed to copy. All right, so now let's bring back up our approver screen one more time. And as an end user, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this data. I'm going to go from the share to my Android device. So if I go to do the copy, now remember we said that the end user has to be approved for copy. So sure enough, here we go. We got the dialog again, and the end user's got to get permission to do the copy. So I'm going to reconnect, and notice when I connect this time on the approver side, I get this drop-down list box that tells me what the end user, what his copy package looks like. So here's a directory. You can see over here was the directory, and then a single file. And as an approver, I can even look at the directory. So if I double-click, I can see what's in that directory, and make sure that the data that the end user is going to take off the network is indeed data that we want to leave the corporation. And I can even, if I double click the file, I can even open it and look and see what's going on. So I can actually reject now, or I can accept. And let me just show you. If I reject it as the approver, I say, oh no, you can't copy this data. Let's go ahead, and you can see it's been rejected, and the copy doesn't occur. Well, let's go ahead one more time, and we'll allow them to do it. So come over here and connect, and we'll accept. Okay, so now it says, okay, you're safe to do the copy, and if I hit the OK button, then you can see the copy operations actually occurred. Okay, and last but not least, remember we said once the once the end user is done using the removable media, let's put the machine back in lockdown mode. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, as the end user, I'm going to close out of this now, and let's come over here, and you can see, remember, I'm still remoted as the administrator. I'm still remoted to the machine, and just you can see here when I do a refresh, you can see now that the machine went back into lockdown mode. So before I let you go, all of this information, all of the steps that just happened here in this demo are being recorded by secRMM into the security event log, and it's got its own secRMM event log, so we're double logging. But you can see here, I'll show you in the Excel add-in, this is the scenario of what just happened. And some of the things we'll see here are, this is when the smartphone came online. You can see right here that this is an Android device, and let's take a look. And remember, in the beginning, the machine was in lockdown mode, and the end user tried to copy some data. Well, that said it was locked down, so that was an error. Then we went ahead and we cleared the lockdown mode so that the end user was allowed. Remember, we were in monitoring mode, and we just did a simple write to the device, and here's the write completed. And then we set up for the safe copy operation. So we turned on the pre-approval flag. We turned on the allowed programs to be safe copy, and we also limited where they can copy files from, remember, in the allowed directories. Okay, so now let's take a look what's going on here. Okay, we could see that the program started, the safe copy program started. The end user was requesting to use safe copy. The approver approved it. Then the user mapped to a network drive. Then he went to do a copy, and it needed approval, and remember, we rejected it that one time, okay? And then the end user went to do it again, and this time we approved it. And you can see here was the copy package. So he went to do the copy of the directory. There's our write, and here's the other single file, and there's the details about the actual write. And then the end user shut down the safe copy program. And lastly, remember we said that when the end user shuts down the program that we're going to lock the machine back down. So you can see that all of the details about what just occurred with that removable media, i.e. smartphone device that we just used, is safely recorded into the security event log and the secRMM event log. I hope this was a good introduction to the two-man policy. I know I was talking quite fast, but I had a lot to cover. Thank you and have a good day.